on Facebook?
Yeah,
Yeah.
They give you a marker?
Yeah, they did.
Hey, I'm in class, man. I'm gonna call me back in like an hour and a
I
half.
ain't bring no sweat rag. I know I'm about to sweat
Little
it out.
5 glass.
Jeez. I ain't got no sweat rags around. No, forget it, man.
Might have to go cheap whatever to clean that.
No, it'll be all stuck to my head, man.
You got some new rails back there. You want one?
Oh.
They new.
Yeah,
And then now he want to be on the white now.
yeah, no, forget it, man. I sweat it out, man.
Man.
I sweat it out, man. I'm gonna sweat it out. All right, brothers, good, man. Cause we supposed to have started at 9, man, but we start now, man. We gonna utilize the time that we do have. That's what it's about, man. You know, so it's good stuff. But I'm excited to have y'all brothers in the place, man. You know, I'll be serious about this stuff, man. I told y'all when I presented, man, a couple of weeks ago, man, I'm serious about this, man, because the more that I teach these fatherhood classes, the better father that I become. So this is a win-win situation, man. This is my lane, man. That's why I love to teach the fatherhood classes. You know, I got 3 children. I have a 24-year-old who is currently now staying with me, man, along with his wife and his 2 kids, my grandchildren. They had mold inside of their house, man, so they needed to, you know, start over again. And they moved from Euclid. They come to Columbus, man. So now they want to build out there in Columbus. So guess what? They there in my rec room, man. So I'm like, that's what it is. So I got my 24-year-old son, I got my 13-year-old son, and I got my 6-year-old daughter. I had a shared parenting plan on all 3 of my children. That means that I have access to all of my children. I have 3 different children's mothers, right? So just imagine how that goes. So it's just a beautiful thing to be able to build that relationship with my children, man, and be influential in their lives and making sure that they go in the direction that they should go, you know, and not a direction that's going to put them in a place that they don't want to be, right? Because the people who are giving them the direction is people or a society that don't have their best interest at heart. So then that's why it's a beautiful thing, man, for me to be able to do this, man, and just continue to work with other fathers and just help y'all get, you know, a clearer understanding about this responsibility that we are taking on. I tell people, man, this is the greatest responsibility that I have encountered as an adult, because you are responsible for the development of an actual individual. It goes past just the child being cute and cuddly, because they're not about to be cute and cuddly all of their lives, right? They're going to grow up and be adults, and the type of individuals that they are will determine what type of life they will experience while they are down here on this earth. And if they ain't got the type of minds that they need to have, guess what? How is their experience going to be down here?
Terrible.
And I'm sure that everybody in this room right here, right? All of the fathers in here right now, you want your children to be successful, right?
Yeah.
That's the reason why you in here, right? You literally care about your children being successful. You don't want your children to be some type of statistic. You don't want your children to experience life at a low level, right? You want your children to experience life at a high level. Is that correct? Okay, good, I'm in the right room, because that's the same thing that I want and I desire for my children. So now once we start to say that that's what we want, then we got to start to put together the plan to get that done, because it's not just going to happen because we want it to happen. The only reason why it's going to happen, why, is because of what we do to make it happen. So that's why we're going to be focused on development of our children. And how do we get that done? How do we get them the information that we want them to have? Because I know that we all got information for our children to access, right? right? Do you got more information than your children have? You got to, because you got more experience, right? And you want your children to be able to access that experience, right? Like, you don't want your children to commit the same errors that you have already committed. I want my children to commit new errors that I ain't never seen before, right? Because I didn't have the ability to explain them for it to be in error, so that they can go around that and they can do it differently. So I want them to commit new errors. Because if they commit new errors, then they're going to get further along, right? Failure is the tuition to success. So it's mandatory that we fail in life in order to be able to succeed. So people look at failure and they make it look all ugly and stuff, but failure is so necessary in order for you to be able to be successful. You cannot be successful unless you fail. You cannot get it right until you get it wrong. Understand? So what I want to do with my children is I want to make sure that my children don't duplicate my same wrongs, don't duplicate my same errors. I want them to say, you know what? Hey, Dad already figured out that don't work, and I'm going to go ahead and do it a different way because Dad already know that don't work. And he's giving me that information. So how are we going to give them that information? How are we going to be able to get that influence that we need with our children? Influence is necessary, and influence can only be gotten how? Through a positive relationship. And that's what we are going to be discussing this whole entire class. Through these next 4 sessions, we are going to be discussing how do we establish a strong positive relationship with our children so we can do what? Transfer information. A strong positive relationship is a relationship without barriers. That means that you have the ability to be able to get them the information that you got. When it's a barrier between you and somebody else, then that is a negative relationship. What does a barrier look like? A negative relationship. What does that look like? It's when you are in a relationship with somebody and somebody is trying to tell you something and you think negatively about them, and what they're trying to tell you, you will automatically oppose whatever they are talking about. Because you feel negatively about that individual. You like, man, I don't even rock with you. Because I don't rock with you, I'm not trying to take what you have to give me. I don't respect you. And because I don't respect you, I'm not trying to take the information that you have to give me. And it can be information that can literally take you to the next level, but you won't access it because of the person that it's coming from.
That's why people nowadays, man, is how they is.
Right. It's like, man, it's relationships. Everything is relationships. Why do you think you see people in the projects of poverty, man, generations after generations? Because the information is not transferring. The errors is not transferring. So you see new generations committing the same errors that were committed before, because it wasn't a focus on establishing a positive relationship to be able to be influential in that children's life, to be able to get them not to make the same errors and to make new errors and get further in life. So where people end up is in the same exact place. And that's why you see people who have children who are incarcerated, their children end up growing up and becoming adults who are incarcerated because the information never did transfer. So that child has developed the same defeated mindset that the father had because the relationship wasn't established in a positive way. So everything that we focus on is a positive relationship. And what I tell people, strong positive relationships is paradise. Weak relationships are hell. You can't get nothing done with a weak relationship of significant value. But guess what I've also realized? You got to put in the work to establish this strong, positive relationship, brothers. It's not just going to happen because you want it. It's not going to happen with a snap of the fingers. You got to sacrifice. And people ask me, what is it going to take, Carlos, to establish a strong, positive relationship with my children, to gain that influence that I desire? And I tell people, it's going to take everything that's inside of you. Are you willing to give it?
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Are you willing to give it? Like, this is where the rubber meets the road, man. Are you willing to give what is required? You can't give what you want to give, because sometimes people will give what they want to give. Like, I'm going to give what I'm comfortable with giving, right? Like, that's what people want to do. I'm going to do what's comfortable, right? You got to give what is required in order to be able to obtain that strong relationship. And if you don't give what is required, that strong relationship with your children will elude you.
Gotta get in that next lane, go back.
You gotta literally say, man, I'm so focused and committed to establishing that strong relationship with my children, because I understand, man, what's at stake. What's at stake is, man, a mind that they need to have in order to be successful. And the way that you get the mind that you need to have to be successful is through information. And I want to be able to be the one that pours the information into my children. I want them to look up to me and say, Dad has the information for me to be successful. I don't want them to look up to Young Jeezy or Lil Baby and say, Lil Baby has the information for me to be successful. Because Lil Baby is putting out the stuff, or Lil Wayne or Rick Ross, they putting out the stuff to do what? Sell records, to make a profit, right? They're not putting out the stuff so you can be on another level.
Have y'all noticed that the newer music don't do nothing but brainwash?
Right! Bro, where do you think it's coming from?
Like, if you think about it, like, if you listen to a J. Cole album, he teaching you to be positive and shit like that. They don't put that man on the radio, but when they come to Lil Baby, they talk about popping Percocets, fucking females, or people advertise that like, yeah, listen to this. They ain't doing nothing but fucking up the kid.
No doubt, no doubt. That's heavy duty, because when you think about that, if you don't have the influence with your children that you need to have, you are leaving them in the hands of that.
For sure.
Because they're going to get on how to be, because that's why we struggle in life, brothers, is because we literally don't know how to be. We don't know how to resolve conflict. We resolve conflict in ways that's going to put us inside of the joint for 10, 20 years, 30 years, right? We resolve conflicts in a way that really don't put us in our best place, because we haven't been taught on how to be, how to move, how to operate and function inside of society. Because we pulling from places where people don't even believe it who was giving it to us. Because the people that tell us that, it's some of the people who say pop this and pop that, and they don't even do no drugs. But they'll say pop this and pop that all day long, like, go ahead and get high. And they sobered in a mug while they are telling somebody to go ahead and get high. So then that's why I say, why is it so important for us to be in the driver's seat in the lives of our children until they are old enough to get into the driver's seat themselves? Why is it so important? Because if we're not in the driver's seat, man, somebody else who don't have our children's best interests at heart is going to drive our children straight off the cliff.
Okay. You know what messed me up with my mom? When I was rapping this song like as a kid, I think I was like 9, 10, or 8, something like that. My mom like, oh, it's crazy that you know the whole song of that word by word.
But you don't know your math.
I said, well, damn.
Wow.
I said, damn. After that, man, I was doing crazy in school after that.
That's heavy duty, man.
Yeah.
That's heavy duty.
My dad used to say the same shit. Like, how you know all the words of the song, but you don't know your math problems? I just
Right. So if you continue to rap it, if you continue to say it, you're going to start to become it, right? You're going to start to become, because that's what you'll be thinking about. So when you come in contact with a situation like that, you're going to say, I'm going to handle it like I've been rapping about, like I've been talking about, because that's where my mind is at. The mind is a terrible thing. The way that we are going to get to the top is by thinking our way to the top. You are not going to be able to feel your way to the top. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to think your way to the top. The top is reserved for those people who are thinking their way to it. It's not for the people who just say, I'm going to feel my way. And when I'm talking about feel your way, I'm saying, man, I'm just going to do as I feel.
Don't follow, take charge.
Brothers, man, I'm going to be straight up with y'all, man. Man, forget feelings, brothers. Feelings is not going to get it done, because feelings are unstable. You wake up today, you might feel good, tomorrow you might not. If you base your actions on your feelings, brothers, it will be no consistency there. You will not be able to be getting stuff done. You can't say, man, I don't feel like going to work tomorrow, and you don't go. What's going to happen with your job? Fired.
Fired over there.
Fired. You see what I'm saying? So often, man, when we end up in a bad place in life is because we are being dictated by our feelings. Gee, I come to your bed area, and some brother, I came to your bed area, right? And I say, man, brother, get up. I'm sure that y'all might have been saying, hey, Sweat, like, man, you know what? Man, I got this medication in me, brother. Like, COVID is going all around, brother. I don't feel up to it, right? But it wasn't the feelings that dominated y'all's behavior. What dominated y'all's behavior is what you thinking. And you said, yeah, I don't feel like getting up because it's a Saturday, early in the morning, lights out, right? There ain't nobody pressing us. Administration ain't running around the building. It's a free day. But y'all said in y'all's head, man, I got to get up and see what the brother talking about. I'm going to go ahead and try to put together, man, some information so I can develop the philosophy that's going to be beneficial for my children.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's thinking, brothers. That's what it's about. But if you sit up here and say, man, it's fathers right now. I went into them doors and I said, brother, get up, man, fatherhood. And brothers said what they say. Man, I don't feel like getting up. I don't feel like getting up. You know what today is? It's Saturday. It's the weekend. Brothers, the way that we get this done, mindset, thinking. And the only way that we can have the type of mind that's going to control our behavior, what? How are we going to do that? Is information. Where do we get information from, brothers?
Experience. A book.
Good. So you get information from conversation, right? Because you get information when we having this conversation right here. You get information from this class, and that's going to be able to go ahead and saturate your mind. You get information from a book. I'm glad that you said something because everybody in the class, I told y'all get the 2 books. Y'all get the Prison Without Bars, right? This is the first book that I read. This is the first book that I wrote. Right? In 2015, this is how I became free with inside of prison. That means that I said, man, I didn't wait until my release date for me to become free. I became free while I was inside of prison. I started to become free at 19 years old when I had to serve my 10 years inside of Marion Correctional Institution. And I said that after this 10 years, I will not be incarcerated ever again because this just don't fit my spirit. And I was honest with myself. I said, man, this stuff is lightweight, corny, man. I don't want to be sitting up there showering with all men, and men is in the shower, and they sit up there butt naked talking about rec. Brother, you butt naked. Don't talk to me about rec while you butt naked, brother.
Say that.
This stuff ain't normal, man. And they try to normalize stuff that's abnormal. Brother, like you trying to have a full-fledged conversation with me and you butt naked, brother, balls jangling and everything? Brother, like, man, yeah, man, you should have seen me on the basketball court, man. Brother, no, I'm not trying to see you nothing at all right now, brother. I'm trying to go ahead and handle my business, dry up, and we can talk in the day room. We can talk back at my bed area, brother, but we don't need to be talking while we butt naked, brother. Brother, I'm on the toilet, and there's no separations on the toilet in Marion. There was no separations. Brothers is like, man, you a real brother, Los. I'm like, brother, you trying to give me a handshake? You on the toilet, I'm taking a dump, I'm trying to concentrate, and you trying to give me some dap on the toilet, brother? Like, I don't need that.
Yeah, slide that roll down.
Brother, I'll slide that roll down, brother. Like, brother, what's up with you though? Like, brother, what you mean what's up? You trying to spark a conversation?
Hey, he fucked me up.
I know you heard the saying, you want to hire something from a black man, put it in a book.
Put it in the book. Absolutely right. So then that's why I said, man, you know what? Hey, I'm going to write this book, and I wrote it in about like 57 pages. It's about 57 pages. You know, oh no, it's 54 pages, right? So it's a quick read. and it's powerful information. I'm talking about I get to the point. It's point A to point B to point C. Man, what's the challenges that you're going to have in abandoning the mentality to get you incarcerated and how to overcome those challenges. And then you'll be able to start to apply that stuff. Everything is information, brother. So this book was written based on that. It's been in all kind of different facilities around the United States of America. It's crazy, man. People gravitate to the message in this book. Powerful, right? Because it was written out of a place to where I said that, man, I literally want to turn the penitentiary on its head and stand the community on its feet. And the way that I'm going to do that is by turning the philosophy on its head that continues to get us locked up, right? And stand the philosophy on its feet that's going to place us back in the lives of our children, place us back in the community, place us back in a position of power, really living life at a whole nother level, right? That's what I'm on. So then that's how the book was written. And the Ohio Commission on Fatherhood, they said that they're going to buy the books, and everybody who participates in the class, they want me to give them the books, right? Because they believe in my messaging. So everybody,
no cap, this is a good book too.
no doubt, everybody gets a book, man. And then you got the Walking Logo, Taking Back My Life, Volume 2. And that's where I'm going to be talking about how to establish your credit. That's where I'm going to be talking about how to get a shared parenting plan. That's where I'm going to be talking about how to get into the right relationships when you get released from here and to be able to experience life in a whole nother level, right? So you'll get that at graduation Sunday next week, along with the certificate for completing this program, right? And the certificate and the program is recognized by the courts too as well. So you'll be able to, any type of things you got going on, it'll count as a parenting program, right? So just good stuff. But this is all about information, right? So we want to be able to have the mind to be able to go at this parenting piece, this great responsibility, so our children can be in the best place, right? We want to be fathers. So when we think about that, the two areas that we are going to cover today is we're going to cover the foundational pieces of the fatherhood.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, brother.
Anybody can be a father. Take a real person to be a dad.
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. Because you can make a child,
Right.
but being a dad is what? It's saying, man, you know what?
In that person's life, you teaching them the right things and shit like that.
Good. I'm glad, man, because you're coming right along to where we wanted to be at, right? Because this is the foundation, right? So the first thing that we want to discuss is what type of father do I want to deliver to my children?
It's like when I was growing up, they sat there, like my parents always sat there and told me, they're like, when you go to have a kid, that's where you got to choose. Do you want to be a boy or do you want to be a man?
Right.
For sure.
Right.
So-
Right. Ain't that heavy duty, man? Because just to think that, man, how they are going to be is going to be based on who?
You.
Ain't it? Because how do we all come into this world? I want to know, how do we come into this world, fellas? Blank. Look.
Young and unknown.
No, right. We come into this world as a blank board. We don't know nothing. We don't know how to be. We don't know how to do things. We get taught how to be and how to do things by what? Our environment. So you see how important it is to be a father, to be a dad to your children, because that means that you are going to be responsible for teaching your children what? How to be. You are going to start to draw on the canvas of your children to make sure that they become who they need to be. That's going to make them become successful. Some people are in a space in their minds where it's no way that they're going to be able to be successful because they can't get out the way of their own selves, right? Because their minds are set up like that. Some people step up and they say, man, I can't do. And because you say you can't do, you won't even look for opportunities to do, right? You're automatically going to lose, right?
For sure.
I done heard people fight for the reason why they can't make it. I done heard people fight for the reason why they can't get right. I heard people like, they fight me and tell me, Carlos, you don't know what all of the stuff I'm going against. Man, I got this on my background. I got this I got to go up against. And I say, brother, you fighting for you to stay in that place. You gonna get to keep it. Because you're coming up with all of the reasons of why you can't make it. I can't come up with a reason good enough for you too, because you got all of the reasons of why you can't. Everything that I come with, you find a problem in all of my solutions. So I already know, like, this is a losing battle for me. I move on.
Yeah.
Your mind is not set up in a way for you to obtain victory.
Fact. I don't say that word. I teach my kids not to even say that word.
That's mind work. That's mind work. So now, fellas, so this is what we want to cover. Dang, I'm, man, dropping fluid and everything. Yeah. Nah, that figured I'm cool on the napkins. That napkin ain't gonna do nothing but catch on my face. I'm gonna have white lint all over myself. Like, I'm gonna sweat it out, man.
There's some bathroom or do some towels in.
Oh yeah, that'll definitely work them towels. So yeah, so brother, so now when we thinking about this, so now this is the content that we need to start to cover, right? This is what we want to start so we can have that in mind. And this is why I love this stuff, because this is going to put us like, this is, people say, man, I went to parenting class. I'll be like, no doubt, good. Who went to parenting class before? You did? Inside Out, that. What you learn out of there?
I mean, in there, they sat there and on the Inside Out days, like the guy that was teaching it in there, he kind of really didn't give a shit.
Right.
He's one of them case, because he was a case manager, he just didn't really, he hated everybody in there.
Right.
So, I took it in there, I didn't get very much out of it, but there's some stuff off the paperwork that I got
Right.
that I'm gonna apply.
Right, good. So this is because this is important. Anything that we do, brothers, any program that you are in inside of here, I encourage you to get into programming. I encourage you to read books that's going to help you be better, right? That's going to, after you get done with it, you like, man, I got more than a certificate. I got the knowledge from it, right? Because the certificate really don't matter. What matters is the actual knowledge, right? That you have to be able to make your life work for you, right? When I got the framework on how to write a book, it became easy for me to write a book. I got on Brendan Burchard Total Product Blueprint. He broke down the framework on what should go in chapter 1, what should go in chapter 2, what should go in chapter 3. This is the body. And then you write the conclusion, right? And once he broke down the framework, I became motivated in getting the job done. Why? Because I had some direction. I knew what to do. And because I knew what to do, it was easier for me to get it done. I wrote my book in 15 days. Why is that? Because of the knowledge that I was given on how to write a book.
And the dedication.
Absolutely. And I already had in my mind that said, man, you know what? I want to write a book. I got a book in me. I got some information that I want to get to the people. But I never could bring myself to writing a book because I didn't have the direction. But once I got the direction, all of the content was inside of me for me to be able to complete the book. Now I can pump out a book like this. My second book, I wrote it in 30 days. My fourth book, I wrote it in another 30 days, right? My third book, I wrote it in 30 days. So I'm able to write books because why? I know how to write the book.
Like I say, knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. And then when you apply it, it takes it to a whole nother level, right? So then this is what we're going to be talking about. So then the first thing that we want to do is, because everybody in here says, man, I want to be an effective dad. I want to be a positive dad because I want my children to be successful once they become adults, right? Everybody has come to that conclusion. Now what we must do is say, man, how do I become that father for my children? The first place that we must start at is what? Us. This parenting piece starts with us. So I'm going to ask anybody, when you're thinking about the type of father that you want to be, what type of father that you want to be? What type of father do you want to give to your children? You first.
I was speaking to my dad the other day about like what type of dad I plan on being, and I had told him I want to be like a fun, cool dad, like have a friendship with my dad. I mean with my son. But my dad said, see, you're gonna have a problem with that. I said, why you say that? He said, you always want to let your child know that you're a parent first, and then whatever you want to be second, that's second. And I said, I ain't mean it like that. I just want my child to know that I'm cool. He was like, well, don't ever get too friendly with your child because then they ain't gonna. I said, oh, there's always something negative with you. Why can't I be his friend?
No doubt, man, no doubt. That's good though, because that's the start. That's the start. type of father that you want to give? Like, because if we're going to establish a strong, positive relationship with our children, meaning that, you know, our children is going to look up to us and say, man, my dad care about me for real. The first place that we must start with is understanding, man, what type of father are we going to give them? Letting our children know that I'm not just giving you any old body. I'm giving you somebody who is intentional and deliberate. I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I've thought about the person that I'm going to give to you, and I become the person that I thought about.
Being that father that they can rely on.
Good. Being the father that they can rely on. What does that look like?
Or like even like in times like, because like I've already had my times where my daughter was hurting and stuff, and she couldn't really get it to her mom, and she came to me.
No doubt.
And
No
I
doubt.
had to be there.
No doubt.
And like me, I even took care of my little cousin. So, I mean, there's stuff that they went through that, like, at a young age, I grew up quick and stuff like that. So, like, I tried to take knowledge of stuff I knew. That way, I can try, like, when they came to me or something, I could sit there and give them knowledge of something to lead them away from that to where they can be better than that.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt. That's good. That's good. That's good. Somebody that they can rely on. So this is important, fellas. So why is it important to so now we got to say, man, how do I come to that conclusion, right? So this is how you come to the conclusion, brothers. This is how you start to nail it down so you can come with some specifics. So now you know exactly what you gonna do. You know exactly what you're not gonna do. You see what I'm saying? It changes the whole game because now that increases the likelihood of it getting done. So you can be intentional. The way that we do that is what? Through information. Where do we get the information from? We reflect. Where do we reflect to?
Ourselves, our lives.
We reflect to our parents and the people who brought us up when we were children. Think about the positive interaction that you had with your parents or the people who brought you up when you were children. The positive interactions are those interactions that produce the positive feelings inside, right? If I'm trying to establish a strong positive relationship with my children, then one thing that I want to do is make sure that I have positive interactions with my children that's going to produce the positive feelings, right? So where do I get that information from? I go back to my childhood and I think about when I was a child, what is the positive interaction that I had with my parents or the people who brought me up when I was a child, just that made me feel good about just the situation as a whole.
You know what I told my girlfriend yesterday? I said, I got great parents. Like, my dad cool as shit, funny as shit. But one thing that I went through growing up was favoritism. My dad had favoritism. And I got, my dad tell you right now, I was the kid who got the most whoopings, all of that shit. Like, I was bad as shit. But, like, when my older brother do something in school or my little brother do something, he'd let them slide or something. I'm like, man, hold on, they playing favoritism in this motherfucker. Right. So I told my girlfriend I don't never want to do that with my child. I don't want to play favoritism with nobody because I know what that feel like. Feel me? Like me being put on the back burner as a kid. Like, damn, like that shit hurt.
No doubt.
Like, feel me?
And
that leads to mental health problems.
Right.
Too,
No doubt.
down the road, because then they start feeling like if you do that in the household, they sit there and they feel like, okay, am I not good enough?
Right. Right. So this is interesting though, because what did I just say, brothers? What did I just say?
Reflect on your childhood.
Reflect on your childhood. But what did I say that we look for first?
Oh, the errors?
Huh?
The errors?
No. We gravitate to the errors. No. What do we look for first?
Positive.
The positive. What is the positive interactions? So when I'm thinking about the positive and this is the only thing that we want to focus on, fellas. And after we focus on the positive interactions and we understand what the positive interactions was that our parents had with us, it is our responsibility to do what? Duplicate those positive interactions with our children in our parenting. Does that make sense? So then that means that I'm going to take the time, right, and focus. Listen, brothers, like I want y'all to catch this because this is where the rubber meets the road. This is what changes the game. And when we say, man, this is the type of father that I want to be, and this is why. right? It's not I'm going to be just a good dad. That's too broad. And usually that don't happen when it's broad like that. It's like, no, I'm going to do this, and that. And the reason why I'm going to do this, and that, because it was right for me, and surely it's going to be right for my children. So when I think about my father who raised me, right, I used to think about him coming outside playing the all-time quarterback with me and my friends. That stuff was beautiful for me. He used to be like, go deep. It used to be 3-4 people that was guarding me, and he still used to fit it into the coverage regardless. I used to love that stuff. And then the way that my friends responded to him as him being an all-time quarterback, they used to be like, man, your dad cool in a mug, man. Like, he out here playing with us. And I used to like the way that my friends talked about my father to me.
Me too, yeah.
It made me feel like, that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? It produced the positive feelings because my father made himself accessible to me and my friends, right? So now you fast forward to me as a father, what am I going to do? I'm going to make myself accessible to my children and their friends.
For sure.
So then that means that when I'm on the playground, right, and I'm talking about I'm intentional about this stuff because I've thought about what type of father that I want to give to my children, and it's coming from the information that I've had, my experiences, right? So I said, man, because my father made himself accessible to me and my friends, it produced the positive feelings, I'm going to go ahead and do that with my children to produce the same positive feelings that I had when I was a child because I want to establish a strong positive relationship. So when my daughter comes up to me on the playground and she says, Dad, and she got all of her friends with her, and I take her to the playground and I just got off of work, I'm lightweight tired, and she says, Dad, hey, man, can you be the lava monster? And I'm like, man, dang, jeez, I'm tired, right? I want you to be the lava monster. And I say, daughter, what is the lava monster? The lava monster is just the lava monster. And you chase us around on the park and you got to catch us, me and my friends. And that's what the lava monster does. The lava monster just chases children for a living. And I say, man, wow. I said, man, dang, it's hot. Right? This is what listen, what's going on? And I'm like, man, I don't feel like it. But guess what is dictating my behavior?
Your father.
My mind. Because my mind is set up in a way to serve my children, to serve the relationship between me and my children. So because I want to have a strong, positive relationship, I say what's in my mind. I've already focused on what is the positive interactions that I had with my father and the things that I want to do. So when I get the opportunity to do that, guess what I'm going to do? I say, even though I don't feel like it, I say this is my opportunity to be able to establish a strong, positive relationship with my children, to be able to make myself accessible to my children and her friends.
Put that LM on your shoulder, your chest.
Lava monster. I became the lava monster, brother. I was like, oh, lava monster. And I'm chasing these kids on the playground. I'm on the monkey bars. I'm literally, because I work out, brother. I run about like a 4.2 40. I'm fast in a mug, man. I don't run no 4.2, but it seemed like I'll be running that fast, but I'll be getting it, right? So I'm like, man, I'm on the yard, I'm like on the monkey bars, like I'm like sweating like I'm sweating now. Other parents is looking at me like this brother's over the top, but they don't know what I know.
Right.
They don't understand what my mission is. My mission is to establish a strong, positive relationship. My mission is to make sure that my children get the same positive interactions that I got when I was a child, right? Like, I'm intentional about what I'm doing. So I'm taking advantage of the opportunity to be able to get that done. Take advantage of the opportunity of a lifetime during the lifetime of that opportunity. That means opportunities come, boom, they go. Either you take advantage of it or you let it go. And a lot of times we let go of the opportunities to help establish a strong, positive relationship with our children because our focus is not there. We don't understand how important it is. So we're not doing what is necessary. So when we get those opportunities, we scoff at those opportunities. We don't even see them because our minds are not even built in a way to recognize the opportunities. Because I haven't sat down and said, man, this is the stuff that I want to do. See, I wrote that stuff down, and this is what I encourage our brothers to do, right? Listen, this is when you take it to another level. When you write stuff down, it takes it to another level, to your conscious, right? So now what you want to do, you want to write down all of the positive interactions that you had with your parents when you were younger. What you are going to do when you, as a parent.
I'm gonna cut you off. I was talking to my dad, like I said the other day. He was like, man, he said, you gave my first grandson. That means I gotta start back working out, getting in shape, because I gotta chase that little nigga. Said,
Ain't no doubt, man.
Like my dad used to do everything with us, man. I'm talking about like everybody, same stuff though.
Good.
Like, man, your dad cool as hell, but he look mean. I'm like, nah, he mean, but he cool as shit though. Like, they was like, man, he be hooping with y'all all type of shit. He take y'all to boxing class. But, man, I love that man. Like,
No doubt.
but sometimes I just be like, man, he aggravated.
No, hold on, no,
I
stay.
can't teach him nothing because he think I'm younger than him, so I can't teach him nothing. I'm like, oh man.
Ooh, stay there though. That's good, man. You hitting it on point too. Listen, because this is how we become better. Listen to how we become better. If we go ahead and look at the positive, right? And we duplicate the positive. So you take all of the right that your dad did, right? You take all of that right and you add it to your parenting. If it ain't broke, you ain't gotta fix it, right? It ain't broke, you ain't gotta fix it. You just take all of the right and you go ahead and add it to your parenting, right? You say, I'm going to give my children the same thing that was given to me that was right. Now, where we get into the next phase of is what?
The negative.
We go ahead and identify the negative. What are the negative interactions that your parents had with you that produced the negative feelings when you were younger? I'm talking about, look at that stuff, brothers. And once you look at it, what must we do?
Fix it.
Write it down, right? This is how we go into fixing it, right? We must look at it, write it down. And once we write down those negatives, now what must we do? We must resist it. So now it's identify the negative and then resist the negatives. Meaning that I'm not going to allow my children to be able to get the same poison that I got when I was a child because it made me sick. The poison is the negative interactions that produce the negative feelings, right? So then that means that I'm not going to be a parent and a father now and say that I really want a strong, positive relationship with my children and I'm administering to them poison that I already know to be poison. You already know that it's not going to produce a good feeling inside of them. But why do you think that we still give our children that same negative that we have been given?
Because we haven't reflected on it and changed it.
Ain't it easier to do stuff when you're not conscious? When you're unconscious, right? When you're on autopilot, ain't it easier to do stuff?
Dream, boy, you can do a lot in your dream.
Brother, I'm gonna go ahead like this, right?
If you can dream, you can do it though.
This is big. This is big. This is why it's so important. And people wonder why it happens, man, you know, because people will say, man, you know what, hey, and I'm dead serious, and y'all can probably relate to this. People will say, man, you know what, hey, when I was younger, man, my parents, they screamed at me. They yelled at me. They said that I was stupid, that I was dumb. They labeled me, man. They talked down to me, right? And now when that person is a parent, now guess what they do with their children? The same exact thing. They yell and scream at their children. They label their children. The same thing that made them feel negatively when they were children, they are doing the same thing with their children. Some people will say, man, you know what? I couldn't even trust the word of my parents. They would say that they would do stuff and then their word would fall through the cracks. Guess what they do now as parents? They say stuff and their word fall through the cracks. Unconsciously, they are doing that. Because it's just the way. It's just the way to be. You see what I'm saying? You don't see nothing wrong with it because you're not looking at it.
Yeah, because I know one thing, I ain't about to teach my kids. It's like, you know, I know everybody up in here, man, that had them parents, man. When you doing your homework with them, oh, that's a lick. Oh, that's a lick. Damn, Mom, just let me tell me which one is right and wrong.
Oh,
like,
right.
But I know now, like,
that's good.
Parent, I ain't doing that. Just like, I can say now I learned so much. Like, I'm lightweight smart. I just play like I'm
It's good stuff, man.
But with my kids, I want to do something different. Like, are they all into the games and stuff now? They tablets and all that. Shit, I just found a game on the App Store, man, that teach your kids everything.
Right.
Like, teach them really like they playing. You know what I'm saying? Like they enjoying it. Cause I was enjoying it, playing it a little bit.
right, and learning at the same
Yeah.
time. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, with the math stuff, I just taught my daughter how to do her numbers the other day on the phone.
What's the name of that app?
Noggin.
Noggin?
Yeah.
Want to know that?
Brothers, I want to ask y'all, like, who had an absent parent growing up?
Off and
I
on.
don't know my biological father, but my dad, he raised me since I was 2, so that's the only person I know.
Right, biological. Okay, cool. So yeah, so absent parent. Right. How did that make you feel?
Both my parents was absent.
Right. Say mentally, right.
One's got to make up for the other.
Same here.
With me,
Absent parents.
yeah, I had
Absent
parents.
parent.
My
I
mom
wouldn't-
was
I wouldn't-
honest though.
Absent
She
parent.
ain't. My mom was 100 with me. She ain't really
Absent
let me
parent.
feel. I felt some kind of way like on my own when I see stuff, but
Right. When you see cause who was absent?
my dad was.
Your dad. Okay.
My dad was dead. And my mom, she worked to just provide for us. So I couldn't really hold, like her being away, I couldn't hold it against her because I knew she was providing for us.
Right. But as a kid, did you feel like
It was like,
dang.
where's my
Yeah,
parents?
when I
Like
see
when I
stuff
sit there,
like people like say, bring your dad to school day or something.
Right.
like I can't
But-
even bring mine.
Where's my dad? I don't know where's my dad at. Absolutely.
But I
It
had,
made you
like-
feel like, dang, what the
But then
heck?
on
Or
the
if
brighter side, I had like my uncles and stuff that I modeled
Right,
myself after.
right.
Or if you see people out
My mom
playing,
taught me to focus on my strengths.
like
Good.
us as kids, if you seen kids out there sitting there doing stuff and you wanted to do that, they couldn't do it. He's like, well, I don't got parents to go do that with. So.
No doubt. Absolutely. So now, fellas, this is big. And remember what I said is, what about you? You got an absent parent?
Both my parents.
You say both?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. How that make you feel? Right, as a kid, when you was a
shitty, as a kid it was shitty.
right, because it's like, man, dang, I don't really have people to depend on, right? Like, especially when both parents is not there, you like, I don't have nobody to depend on, right? It's just something different. And then when you see other people with their parents involved, right?
I just have to say, my mom was like that. She didn't even notice it. Man. I mean, yeah, they had what they had going on.
Right,
But I got to do what I got to do.
right,
So I didn't even notice the fact that, dad ain't there, mom's at work. It didn't make never mind. I had to do what I had to do to get by in my life.
right.
I'm a kid. I'm doing me.
Right.
Yeah, because like one of the things I did with my kids too is because when my parents, like before my dad died, my dad, he always got drunk and wanted to fight all the time. And that's one thing me and my brother didn't like. So that's one of the things, like, as my kids were growing up, every time my baby's mom wanted to sit there and try to argue in front of them, I'm like, look, no, we're not doing
Right.
this here.
Oh, yeah.
Let's step over here or something.
That's good, because how you used to feel when the arguments was being had in your presence, right?
Yeah, and if she started yelling or something,
Yeah.
I'm like, look, I'm not
Let's
even going to
calm
talk
down.
about it right now.
Right.
Just go calm down.
And that's crazy because you doing that just automatically, right? So now just think about now really taking a focus on that negative and making sure that your children don't experience that same negative. I asked y'all about the absent parent because my father raised me and my brother, and my mother, she had actually got caught up in the 80s, with, the drugs and everything. She ended up getting incarcerated. She went to Tennessee, got incarcerated and stuff like that. She used to call and things like that. We didn't know that she was locked up. I didn't know she was locked up until I became an adult. Until I got locked up, right? And then she was like, oh, I was locked up that time. That's why I wasn't there for real. I was locked up. She got locked up for robbery cases and things like that. But now she's done turned it around and she's involved in her grandchildren's life. Just we got a good relationship, right? But my father raised me and my brother. But the reason why I asked about that absent parent because I didn't feel bad, but I still knew that something was missing. Because my father just made up, it just seemed like he made up for that, where it was cool, but I still knew something was missing because I didn't have that, what a mother would give,
Can you call it absent? Like, say if your mom and dad is like, I had both of them one point in time. Then boom, they split up. My mom went to Chicago. My dad stayed here.
Right.
Then we moved back to Ohio, and it was back. You know what I'm saying? I can honestly say it was kind of absent because, like my high school years, I wanted my dad to be, in my game and shit. He came to some of them, but it wasn't like how. Then my mom got sick, so you know what I'm saying. So boom, it was just like it was a lot, man. I was going through as a kid for real.
And this is good, bro, because now what you're going to do is you're going to look at that, because I know that I'll be looking at it and I say, my daughter, when you say, is it absent or is it not? Like, you know when it's absent and when it's not. If you got to say, is it absent, then it's absent. You know, if you asking a question, just because they are there physically doesn't mean that they're still not absent too, right? Because they can be there physically, but the mind, poof, somewhere else is not on the development of you, right?
My dad, I honestly the same, man. My dad was don't do that. That's why I ain't want to say nothing.
Right.
As a kid, your dad being cool, that's when you take it. Oh, that's my friend. And then when he started getting older, that's when your dad will start popping in. Like, no, you can't do this. You gonna be looking like, damn, dad, like I'm getting older now.
Right.
Yeah, like my dad, he would have started really being a dad at times. Like, hey, 18, 19, 20. And I told him, like, bro, you can't tell me nothing anymore.
Right, no doubt.
Like, I feel like I'm, you know what I'm saying?
And the reason why you like that is because the stuff wasn't built before, right? This is good. What you seeing right now when you just said, man, you can't tell me nothing, right? Is because the relationship doesn't warrant him telling you anything right now, because the relationship isn't strong enough. If the relationship is strong enough, then he would have influence that he needs with you, but you got to put in that work. You see what I'm saying? And it takes a focus. So now, why I said, man, absent parent, because I had an absent parent, but guess what? I was 19 years old when my son was 3 months old. I was 19 years old when I had my son. He was 3 months old when I got incarcerated for a 10-year prison sentence. How does that happen? How do I sit up there and give my son an absent father that I didn't want when I was a child, when I had an absent mother? How did I do that? The way that I did that, because I wasn't thinking about what type of father that I wanted to give to my son. If I would have thought about what type of father that I wanted to give to my son, then I wouldn't have said that absence is okay. I would have said that, man, you know what? I want to be a dad that make himself accessible to him, to my children and his friends. I want to be a dad that shows up to donuts with dad. You know, I want to be a dad that my children can always access, right? Prison would have contradicted that. So when I was out there selling dope, I would have been like, hold up, me selling dope and me holding on to these guns, me go ahead and trying to get this dude who done stole from me and go ahead and end his life, man, this stuff doesn't make sense. It's going to compromise my overall mission, which is what? What type of father that I want to deliver to my children. This is why it's so important to really know what type of father that you want to give to your children, so you don't give them a father that you don't want them to have. I ended up giving my son a father that I didn't want him to have because I didn't think about it. I wasn't thinking about it, right? If you think about what you want to do, the likelihood of you getting it done is greater. But if you don't think about it and you are on autopilot, then you're going to end up in any old place.
Because at most times you're sitting there thinking about yourself, but when you have that child, you got to quit having that mindset. You got to sit there and actually have that mindset of, okay, I got to think for me and that child.
Because you like, man, hey, this is my responsibility. Right? It's no way that you can be sitting up here saying, man, I'm thinking about the type of father that I want to deliver to my children, and I know how important me as a father is, and then I'm going to sacrifice my presence with my children based on what the people in the hood are saying about me, based on what somebody else is thinking about me, man. What somebody else is thinking about me is none of my business. Only thing that is my business is what I think about me. What is my business is what I'm trying to become, because I got to become it. And the only way that I'm going to become it is if I put in the work to become it.
I learned that in prison. That's crazy that you just said.
Bro!
Because I used to be like that. I used to always wonder.
Hold on, G. Hold on. Let one brother talk, right? Okay?
I used to always think like, damn, man, what they talking about? And I used to be that one to be like, hey, man, they might be over there talking about me, da-da-da-da. But, man, now I'm telling you, now I don't give a...
Bruh.
I don't be caring. Like, bruh, you think how you think. Matter of fact, you're right. You think, you thought, yeah, you're right. For sure. Me, I'm only thinking about Trey for right now. Because one thing I had to learn, man, is like, when you go to jail, say when you go to jail, boom. Say if you got a woman, you got people around, you know, that they say they there for you. You'll really start seeing the real people there for you when you in there, bro.
Don't this give you some different insight on life?
Man, you'll be like, dang, I thought it was. Then when you come back home, it's down in the church.
What up, Joe?
You look at him like, bro, where was you at?
Man, that time flew by. Ace Wood, that 6 years flew by, man. Man, it's like you just left, man, brother. I did 6 years day for day. It didn't fly by.
Yeah, it definitely did.
I was at my bed area at nighttime, man. Like, it didn't fly by. I was getting shook down, man. They locked down the dorms, man, because somebody threw soap at the CO, man. Like, it didn't fly by, man. Like, I went down there to get those bag lunches for Thanksgiving, brother. You know, that's what I ate for dinner. You know, for lunch I had, you know, the turkey, the sliced turkey, but at dinner time I had bag lunches, brother. It didn't fly by, brother. When I did have the visits, when somebody did miraculously come, I had to go out there, bend over, lift up my feet and spread my cheeks, man, to be able to go out there on the visits, man. And then I had to go ahead and allow that same thing to be done when I came off of the visits. It didn't fly by. I had to stand up for count. And if I didn't stand up for count, then they was going to say I was out of place and I go to the hole because I didn't stand up for 330 count, right? It didn't fly by, right? It flew by for you because your scenery is changing, right? You going from here to Cleveland, you going from Cleveland to Columbus, so everything is changing. But I was like in a Groundhog Day type of movie when I continued to see the same people over and over again. People would go home and I would see their same faces again. And not only that, but if I didn't see their faces, I would see their children. And their children look just like them and they act just like them. So I didn't get a chance to experience new people. Every day out here in society, I see a new face. When you inside of the joint, you see the same faces. I'll get you 1 second. Not only do you see the same face, you see the same staff. The fathers of the children grow up to be staff and then they end up being COs and they act just like they parents.
The same food.
Like,
everything.
same food, same time, everything is the same. That's why it's similar to hell. It's no type of variety when you're dealing with the joint, right? This is why it's conflicting to the spirit. So when people say it flew by, no, it didn't fly by. I did 10 years. 10 years didn't fly by. That's 10 calendars. That means that I watched that ball drop New Year's Eve 10 years straight.
Sure.
That stuff ain't fly by.
I did 10 months and that shit ain't fly by. I mean, that bitch.
When somebody said it flew by, I man wanted to bite their dang old head off. Like, it flew by. Like, you mean it flew by?
I was just gonna say, man, with the visits, with the visits, when I went out there, it's like my people when they finally did come or whatever, it's like they'd be like, "What's wrong?" Nothing. You know, we'd sit there and talk or whatever. That shakedown at getting whatever spraying my ass and shit. Then on the way out, going through that, for me, it erased the whole visit, bro. It seemed like that was for them instead of for me.
No doubt.
I didn't care to
Especially in Richland, they used to like that shit. Like,
That stuff is crazy.
I was like, come on, man, what you want, bro? Like,
Waiting on you, like, hey, Atwood, how you doing, Atwood?
yeah, with the gloves on.
Slide their gloves on, like, how you doing, Atwood?
But that's right, no doubt. Like, and then they pop the gloves on you. They pop the gloves like just to let you know what's about to go down.
Like your job doing this.
Like you must seriously like looking at a guy's asshole.
Man, that shit used to aggravate the hell out of me. So,
That killed my whole visit.
Did it aggravate y'all brothers?
yes, hell yeah.
When you go into the visiting room and then the dang on disco ball come out and you not a visiting room, but right before you go to the disco ball come out and the Lou Rawls come on, you'll never find another love like mine. Bend over. one that love you the way that I do. Right? Like, no, this stuff is crazy, brothers. Like, and it's not normal. So, right, so that's why I say, man, if I would have been thinking about what type of father that I wanted to be, then it would have contradicted me being the person that I was. So there's no way that I could have went out and still continue to be that person. And this is what helped me with my dang on evolution, brothers, because I sat there at my bed area. My son was 3 months old, and he was going to be 10 when I got released. And I said, man, this is not the way that I want to be a father. I want to be a different type of father. I literally said that to myself. So then that's when I started to say, man, I don't care about what other people are talking about, what other people are thinking, man. I care about what I'm becoming, because who I am is not who I am comfortable with being because of the results that I have gotten. And I was honest with myself, and I just put in the work, brothers. But that's why it's so important to really think about who it is that you want to be, what type of father that you want to deliver to your children, so then they just don't get any old type of father. You see how that stuff makes sense? So let's do a recap, brothers. Let's do a recap. So, and this is going to be required too for y'all to do when y'all go back to y'all's dorm. I mean, I'm just giving y'all like the inside, man. This is some stuff that you can do that can lock it into your conscience, right? What you want to do is you want to look at all of the positive interactions that you had with your parents when you were a child. Write those things down. It can be anything from, man, when my dad used to pick me up, when my mom used to pick me up, she used to take me to Dairy Queen out the blue, nowhere. That made me feel good. So guess what you are going to do now as a father? You just going to go ahead and pop up on your children, take them to Dairy Queen, out the blue, just out the blue, because that made you feel good is going to make them feel good. You're going to say, man, you know what? Hey, I liked it when my parents used to allow me to pick my shoes, and they ain't buy the shoes that they wanted me to have, but they allowed me to pick the shoes that I wanted. So what you are going to do as a father is say, I'm going to allow my children to pick the shoes that they want to have. You see how you're starting to become intentional about what type of father that you are delivering to your children? So when somebody says, man, what type of father are you going to be? You say, man, I'm going to do this, and that. Why am I going to do this, and that? Because it was done when I was a child, and it produced the positive feelings inside of me, and I'm looking to establish a strong, positive relationship with my children.
Hey, you know, Hank could just bring home a box full of shoes. Like, man, I know y'all can fit these.
Right. Like, you like, man, what the heck, man? I'm trying on all these shoes. Like,
I sent him a picture of some Air Maxes in a bag, and then he sent me back some bolts in the clothes box. Like, I can't even fit them. There's some size 8 bolts.
You know what?
Like growing up.
Man, my dad sent me extra small size sweatsuits in a clothes box, man. The only one I could get that whole year. He sent me some small sweatsuits and a pair of Volts, man. And was
that's
like,
heavy duty.
He was like, lose weight then. Like, you can't fit it, you need to lose weight. Like,
I used to like when I had a doctor's appointment and my mom would stop, go give me some of the food, and then I'd go in class with some food. Like, yeah, nigga, my mom got me some food. Go in class, try to show off the little Burger King and McDonald's and shit. He's like, damn, your mama, yeah, nigga, she love me.
Oh, man, good. Man, I'm glad you said that. Good. That's a good point. Because look at what you can do, man, bro. You about to be laced up for your son.
Yeah.
You're going to be laced up. He ain't even here yet. And you're going to be laced up because of the mind that you're going to have going at it. We are going to be laced up because we're going to be different after these classes, right? Just period. We're going to be better, right? That's it. That's all it is. Anything that we good at is always great to become better at, right? So that's what it is. We're going to be better. Every day we wake up, what are we going to do? Be better.
better yourself.
Sure.
Be better than you were yesterday, today. That is your responsibility.
That's the reason why we wake up every day, is to be better.
It's to be better. But we got to really ask ourselves, man, are we really becoming better? Because the only way that you're going to become better is if you intentionally work to become better. You're not going to become better just because you want to.
Yeah, don't be a following father, be a unique father.
You gotta like put in the work to become better. That means that you gotta read, you gotta look at videos, you gotta get into conversations, you gotta literally put in the work to become better. That's the only way, right? So But this is going to be heavy duty, man, because I remember the same thing with you. My dad used to bring jelly donuts to the school. He worked at the college as a janitor, and before he would go to work, he would drop jelly powdered donuts off from IGA. It was the bakery that had the best donuts to me, right? Yeah. And powdered jelly donuts was my favorite. He used to drop them joints off right before he would go to work, and they would call me down to the office. Now, you know, I had a lot of mischief inside of the school, so when they would call me, I would be like, dang, my heart got to beat like, man, somebody done ratted on me, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going down there, and when I go down there to the office, I would see that white bag. I knew what was in there. It was them powdered jelly donuts. He would just drop the powdered jelly donuts off out of nowhere. He wouldn't tell me he would do it. He was going to do it. He would just do it. And I would get called down there. And when I got called down there for them jelly donuts, I used to feel different when I was inside of the cafeteria. When everybody else was eating that dang on penitentiary food, I was sitting up there eating my jelly powdered donut. I was like, yeah, I'm getting it in, right? Like, I felt good. Fast forward, brothers. I'm telling y'all, brothers, like, I do this. I don't just talk this, right? Like, this is what I do. That's why I be so excited, because I'm able to see the results from doing these type of things. I duplicated that same thing with my daughter. Guess what I do? When she has bring a lunch day, guess where I go? I go to McDonald's, get her a Happy Meal, chicken nuggets, and she's the only one in the class that got a Happy Meal, chicken nuggets, man, with the dang on orange pop. And when I pop up with the chicken nuggets, everybody else got peanut butter and jelly, right? She has the Happy Meal with the chicken nuggets, extra fries, and I got her some apples too, slice.
Yeah. She up in there stunning.
She like, and everybody in the class, they like, man, that's it. Cause I'm gonna tell y'all this too. Everybody in my daughter's daycare, they call me Super Dad. I come into the class, I'll be like, I'm Super Dad, you know, and all of the kids, they be like, hey, Super Dad, hey, because I make myself accessible to my daughter and her friends, right? So I label myself as Super Dad, so when I come up, all of the kids come up and talk to me, they like, Super Dad, what's going on? And I'll be like, I just give them attention, and they love that stuff. They be like, go ahead and put your hand up here, watch me hit it. And I'll be like, let me see. And they be like, dang, like, they love that stuff, right? They be like, Super Dad.
That attention at home though, so that's kind of sad.
No, right. But look, this is what it is, because people aren't conscious of what type of parents that they are being. So then that's why their children get any old parent. And when you get any old parent, you're gonna do some right, but you're gonna do a lot of wrong too as well.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So then the mindset is to make sure that we don't give them the wrong that we already know to be wrong, because we are conscious. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm so intentional about this stuff, and I'm getting the fruits from being intentional. The positive relationships that I have with my children. I'm in the driver's seat because of the work that I put in with establishing that relationship. I drop off the Happy Meals and they love that stuff. My son, when he was in second grade, guess what I did? I said, man, I'm going to go ahead and bring a pizza for lunch, and I'm going to sit in class in the cafeteria and have lunch with him. And then after I have lunch with him,
That's almost child too.
We eating. Child, we eating, brother. Like, we eating, right? We eating, right? We is eating, child, right? This is nourishing, right? But look, check this out, brothers. Stay with me. We gonna wrap it up, brothers. We gonna wrap it up, right? So listen. So now, guess what? My son, I go ahead and I say, man, I'm going to go ahead and just pop up and bring a pizza. I tell the front desk, man, I want to have lunch with my son today. This was when he was in second grade. I say, I want to have lunch with my son today. I got a pizza fresh off the presses. It's like, yeah, no doubt. Lunch is about to be called. You can have it in the cafeteria. I sat down and I had lunch with him. All of the kids was just looking at him like, wow, man, your dad's so cool, man. He up in here having lunch with you, man. You know.
Do that? You can still do that?
Right, yes. Might not now with the corona. Might not now, but you can ask though, and like I said, but it's gonna come, it's gonna open back up. But just ask.
You can still drop off though.
You can still drop off, but you can still, right, no doubt. And guess what I did after that, brother? Because remember when I said that my father used to go ahead and be the all-time quarterback, and I used to love it when my friends used to look at him. I say, man, let's go to the playground. You know, let's go to the playground. So I would go out there to the playground with my kids, with my son and his friends, right? And I would tell them like, that's where Super Dad started at, was with my middle son. And I would tell him, I said, you can't catch me, I'm Super Dad. You know, and they was like, man, we can catch you. And I just got on the playground, I just got to running fast. And them kids was serious. They was like, we gonna catch you, Super Dad. And you can see, this stuff is on Facebook. I got the video of this stuff, man. This was years ago. But if you go through my stories on my Facebook, you'll see it. But the kids it's just a mob of them. And they like, you heard one kid, he was like, we're gonna, cause I had it videotaped. They was like, we're gonna get you one way or another, Super Dad. You know, and I'm just running, right? Like crazy. I'm sweating. And then they catch up to me. I wasn't trying to go down, but the kids, one of them grabbed onto me right here, right? And I'm like, man, boom. I'm like, okay, you still lightweight. I'm still running, right? And then another one grabbed onto me. I'm like, dang, like, boom. And then they just started to take me down, like, and they just submerged me, no lie. I was really trying to fight from going down, but they like took me out by my legs and they jumped on my back and they like really taking me down and they just seeing it. And I'm like, dang, man, they got me, right? It's like, you're going down, Super Dad. I was like, wow, the stuff was powerful, right? Because my son he says, man, you know what? In the fourth grade, when he was in the fourth grade, he said, man, you know, people still ask about you, about Super Dad. I say, man, that's crazy, man. Like, he was so popular in the school after that because they like, man, you got Super Dad. You know, because kids, when I was leaving the day on school, they was like, man, can you be my dad? I'd be like, his income taxes, brother, what's your social? Like, you got your social? Like, I
Tell your mom to bring us, tell your mom to see what
like,
your social
like,
is.
I'm like, all things are possible, man. Like, what's your social? Like, of course I can. Of course I can. What's your social, man? You know what time it is? It's tax time, brother. Like what's your social? No, but straight up, fellas. But I just say that to say. I just say that. What is them, Bugler?
Man.
Okay.
The commodity is short up in here, man.
Right. But that's powerful though, brothers. But again, I want y'all to take that, right? I want y'all to take that, grasp a hold of that. It's just saying, man, when I'm gonna interact with my children, I know what I'm doing and why I'm doing it.
For sure.
You see how that will lead to the positive, strong relationship? Because it's like, man, I'm not just doing any old thing. I got a reason for why I'm doing things. I got a reason why I'm not doing things, right?
Yeah.
So when my just the other day, my daughter, she jumps over the couch. No lie. Guess what she do? My son, 13 years old, right? And he has his plate. We having tacos. It's taco. It wasn't Taco Tuesday, it was Taco Wednesday, right? So we having tacos, right? And she's jumping over the couch, she's just all hyped. She's just excited about life. You know, she's living the life, right? She's 6 years old, she's living the life, right? And she's jumping over the couch, right? Just excited, and she kicks the dang on plate out of Baby Bubba's hand. Tacos everywhere. Now, I only be making enough, like, for real. For us. Like, so it don't be too much leftovers, right? Like, so when that happened, guess what? You know what was inside of me? Like, man, dang. Like, I can't let the little brother go hungry. Right? I can't let the little brother go hungry, right? But what I had to do was I still had some tacos left, and I had like 2 shells left, so I was able to take, because I only got a box of shells, 12, right? Oh. So I had 5 apiece, right? I have 4 for him, 5 for me, and then she had 1, and she had a soft taco. So I said, man, I had some soft taco shells, so I just had to go in the kitchen, and I went on ahead and took the 2 taco shells, and I put the rest of the meat in the 2 taco shells. I put the rest of some more meat into the soft taco shell. I put the soft taco shell on my plate. I gave my son 2 2 of my tacos, and then the other 2 tacos that came out of the box, he had his 4 tacos again. I had my 3 taco hard, and I had 1 taco soft. So I said, man, this is just what it is, man.
Yeah.
But I say that to say, brothers, look, man, when she did that, she was just quiet.
She thought she was getting in trouble.
And I just said, you know, and Deshaun, my son, the way that he handled it, he just started to pick up the stuff. He was like, Riz! And then he was like, just started to pick up the stuff and putting it in the trash, right? Because he knows that I never trip on him about his errors. Like, I never scream at him about his errors. The reason why I don't want to scream at my children about my errors, because I've been screamed about my errors. I've been screamed at about my errors, and it made me feel like this small, right? So I understand that. And it can make you to the place to where you are afraid to even try anything because you're going to make an error. You are afraid to make an error, right? Because of the way that people treat you when you make them. So when my daughter made that error, I just said, I got control of myself. Now, look, the way that I felt was, man, this is crazy, man. Like, ain't nobody got no stuff to be paying for more food and all of this. This is how I felt. But the way that I responded was something totally different because of my mind. My mind dictated my behavior. So I just said, boom. I controlled my emotions, brothers. I controlled my emotions. And I just picked up, I just went on ahead and went in there and fixed it. And I sat down, and before I said anything, I was in a calm place. And I said, man, daughter, you just got to watch out what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? This is how I'm having a conversation with her. Right. You just got to watch out what you're doing, daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a time to play and it's a time to be serious. And when it's time to eat, daughter, we gotta eat, all right? You know, and she could receive that even better. So how do you think that she's going to be around me? See, I could have took either way. If I would have took the way of just responding to my emotions and would have been screaming like, man, sit your butt down somewhere. This is the problem. You play around too much, man. This is crazy. Now you done spilled all of the tacos. What he gonna eat? What's your problem? See, I should whip you right now. If I would have responded like that, what is it going to do to her?
Make her try.
Scarred her?
Scared.
And it's going, and it's only a matter of time before she starts to have that resentment towards me. Because I make her feel a certain type of way. Because she's making errors, and errors are normal for human beings. I don't know why people think that they don't make mistakes. People think that they don't make errors, right? Don't people be treating people like you ain't supposed to make an error? Like, errors is a part of humanity. That's why pencils come with erasers for a reason, because we gonna make errors. But people be treating people like you all jacked up because you done made an error. Brother, welcome to being a human being. But you got people out here, man, acting like that they perfect. You acting like it. That's not the truth. Because the truth is everybody on the face of this earth is making an error or due to make an error. Nobody on this earth's surface is perfect. So how can somebody have the right to look down at anybody about what they did when they ain't did everything right?
You know what I be want to do to them people? Grab my back of the head, right?
Ain't no doubt. But that's the thing, is that they try to cover it up. They try to cover up all of their wrongs, right? And say, nobody sees my wrongs, so it's not there. But it's there.
I got my little brother, he got two-year-old daughters. So one day I'm over there, we kicking it, he barbecuing stuff. He tell his daughter, he say, sit your ass down. He grab her and pick her up. I say, but don't ever in your life talk to my niece like that. You know what he say? He say, you ain't got no kids, these my kids. I said, the reason why you don't want to talk to them little girls like that is because you don't want them growing up thinking that's okay from another man. You raising your voice at them, they gonna grow up into that thinking that's okay.
No doubt.
You don't want no man yelling at your daughter like that, so you don't do it. Oh, these my kids. And I said, you know what, you got it, you right.
My baby mom called me soft.
That's great. I get called that too.
You soft. I get called. You yell at her. You don't do nothing. You ain't never whooped her.
You know why? Because because adults, they like, man, control your children instead of influence your children. Control is only going to last for so long until that fear wears off. Because once that fear wears off, guess what goes out the door? Control, right? You can't do nothing about Junior now because Junior said, I ain't scared of you no more. I'm smoking in the house. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I ain't scared of you, Mom. Like, I was scared of you before, but I ain't scared of you now, because the fear has went out the door, right. and the influence isn't there. Influence is only gotten through a positive relationship, but people are trying to get that control off of instilling the fear inside of their children. But what you get is control for a small amount of time until the fear wears off. And fear, false evidence appearing real. It will wear off sooner or later. And when it wears off, you are at a disadvantage with your child.
I have an autistic son, and I don't believe he even responds to spankings, anymore. I remember the only time I ever tried it, like, one thing I always set down is, don't put your hands on your brother. You do not hit your brother. Don't aggravate your brother. Don't put your hands on your brother. Cut it out.
That's how he was raised too. You don't fight your family.
Right. He doesn't even respond to it. He just, but he responds to, all right, you got to sit on the couch. You sit on the couch. He responded more to that than he did anything else. I don't know now. I've been gone for 3 years, but like that, like, my kid doesn't respond to his ass beat, dude. What the fuck do I do with a kid that wants all of his toys in a line and fucking, like, what the fuck, dude? I ain't never, what the.
That's heavy duty, right? Like, but, and it's crazy because, that's how it's going to be, like, with most people. Because at the end of the day, this is what people got to understand, man. The human spirit is not meant to be dominated. Period. It doesn't matter if that spirit is a child or an adult. I think that so often people think because children are children that they are less than. No, they are not. And that's the issue. So when the parents, as an adult, it's like, see, this is a gift. You have been given a gift. Because now when you are a father, what are you going to do with power? You have been given a level of power when you are a father. What are you going to do with power? How do you feel when people abuse their power?
I hate it.
So many parents, what do? They abuse their power. Shut up because I said so. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm going to explain to my children why I want what I want and what I expect. I'm going to explain to them. When they ask questions, I welcome those questions because I got an answer to the questions that they ask. So I have no problem with them asking me questions. I open up the space for them to ask me questions. I tell them, don't just do anything just to do it. Ask questions, no doubt. Get an understanding. Come to your own conclusion. Don't be no follower. Come to your own conclusion. Listen to what I'm saying, process the information, get an understanding so then it can stick. I don't want you to just do because I'm telling you to do. Say, man, you know what, this doesn't make sense and I'm going to do it because of that. So I welcome the questions with my children.
They're going to be starting a child out there for now.
Jeez, all right, brothers. So we gonna I wanted to put 2 sessions in today, but we're not gonna do that, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna hold on to them tomorrow and we're gonna get rocking and rolling. But this is the first layer that we peel back to establishing a strong positive relationship. Remember, the way that we get it done is by understanding that's where we start at. Because it's letting our children know that we are serious about them. We let them know that we are serious about them because we are saying, I'm thinking about who I am when I am interacting with you. I'm not just like, oh man, willy-nilly. I'm just not giving you any old body. I care about you so much, I'm going to think about who I'm going to be in your presence. I'm not just going to be stepping all on your toes because I'm not paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, the stuff is disrespectful. So the first place to establish this strong, positive relationship is just understanding what type of father that you're going to deliver to your children. Look at the positive, and this is what I want y'all to do over the day, brothers. Just take some time and invest that into your children. Just that right there. Just write that stuff down. Brothers, I'm asking you this because tomorrow at 9 o'clock, I'm going to ask y'all, what have y'all written down? What is the positive interaction that you had? Does everybody understand that? Yes. Right? I don't care what the positive interaction was, how small it is. I want to know what it is and what you plan on doing, and these are the things that you're going to do with your children. And then I want you to write down the negatives, right? I don't care what it is. Write it down. I didn't like it when my parents would beat me like they didn't care about me, right? Like they just beat me like they was angry. Like they didn't beat me like they was trying to teach me. They beat me like they was trying to retaliate against me. It didn't make me feel good, right? So these are things that I don't want to do. Write that stuff down. I didn't like it when I would look and my mom is not there, my dad is not there, and I couldn't count on nobody. This is what I don't want to give to my children. I want them to always know that I'm going to be there because I'm making the decisions to be there. Right?
I used to hate when my parents was always at work, and then when we called them, like, yeah, we hungry. Make some noodles. Cook one of them TV dinners. We eating this shit every day, man.
Good. So good. So negative, right? So I'm going to make sure, because I didn't like that stuff either. You know what I do? Man, I told you I got my son 5 days of the week. Me and my daughter, we alternate weeks, right? But I cook dinner every single day. I'm in the household, brothers. It's me and my kids. I cook dinner every single day. Monday, Tuesday is Taco Tuesday. You know, so we either cooking fish, chicken, or tacos or steak. But every day, it's not no variety of stuff. It's the same stuff. But at least I know that every day they having a cooked meal. I do that intentionally because I didn't have cooked meals every day for me. So that's a negative that I want to resist. Identify the negative, boom, resist it. So now my children are getting the best father that I can possibly give them because it's an intentional father. It's a deliberate father. You get that? So that's why it's important, fellas, to take time to reflect. Write that stuff down. And tomorrow, we're going to talk about what y'all have written down. And this is the first step that we are taking to saying that our children matter, and I expect my children to be successful. I expect them to be successful, right? And with that being said, I want to end the class with, just this one chant, and that's going to be, as a father, I'm doing all that I can. I'm doing all that I can do, right? All I can do is enough. I'm doing all that I can do. All I can do is enough. Because all you can do is enough. You just got to make sure that you are literally doing all that you can do. Doing all that you can do, brothers, is getting up, coming to class. It's getting up, learning new content. It's getting up, making sure that you're becoming better as an individual so your children can benefit from that. If you are doing all that you can do, brothers, all you can do is enough. I don't care where you at. It's enough. You just got to make sure you're doing all you can do. So we're going to end it with, as a father, I'm doing all I can do. All I can do is enough. All right? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. As a father, I'm doing all I can do. All I can do is enough. Hold up. Let them hear it because they sleeping, right? So let's wake them up because there's more fathers in here, right? I'm talking about there's more fathers in here that got this great responsibility and they thinking that somebody else is going to take care of that responsibility and get their children in the place that they want their children to be. They wishing, and wishing don't get nothing done, right? So again, we're going to make sure that they hear it and understand their responsibility right before they going through the child hall line, right?
Right.
As a father, I'm doing all I can do. All I can do is enough. As a father, I'm doing all I can do. All I can do is enough.
Right.
Brothers, tomorrow, 9 o'clock.
Next episode.
9 o'clock tomorrow, brothers. Don't have me coming up in y'all's dorm, man. You know what I'm saying? Come on, brothers. Don't have me coming up in your dorms, brother. You know what I'm saying? Brothers, please, don't have me coming up in y'all's dorms, brother. You know, I'm getting up. When that clock hits 7 o'clock for me, I get up. I don't care about what's going on. I get up because I need 2 hours to get here, brothers. So it's like I need an hour and a half to get here. So, brothers, I'm just saying, tomorrow, and this is my weekend too, brothers, you know. This is my weekend too, brother. So that means that my weekend gets cut short, man. You know, my Fridays get cut short, my Saturdays get cut short, brother. It's like, I can't be out in the spot like this when I got fathers that I got to work with, right? So I turned it in early to make it here, brother.
This is a Mike Tyson vision. Man. Look.
All right, brothers, good stuff,
Mike
man.
Tyson vision. Shit, go show.
All right.
Good look.
Hey, and tell the brothers who ain't come, tell them to come tomorrow.
Got you.
All right, and tell them.
Hopefully I can make it in the morning.
All right, brother, see you tomorrow.
This the funniest shit
Oh, hold on. Oh, brother, see you tomorrow, brother. Right, I gotta look in the eyes, brother. See you tomorrow, brother. All right.
Hey, you
See
said
you tomorrow, brother. I gotta look in the eyes, man. Okay, all right. See you tomorrow, brother. All right, see you tomorrow,
on
man.
Facebook too,
Yeah, I
though?
just told Kofi, I'm like, I'm streaming this show tomorrow.
Heck yeah,
that's
no
his name
doubt,
on
man.
that too?
Is it good stuff though?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, because that's what it's always about, is making sure that it's applicable, man. Like stuff that makes sense that you could literally take and apply it, right?
You apply that Mike Tyson.
He's silly, man. Look at that, brother, man. No, that's crazy to them. They doing Mike Tyson wrong. If he found that,
That's Perez weird ass posting shit like that.
oh, okay.
Slow it out. You gotta
Shit, Carlos Christian.
Yup. Oh, heck
check
yeah.
it out. You can check it out. They got everything. You just gotta wait till that shit get released. I order all my shoes up there. I don't wait no line, none of that shit. And
Oh,
your
the
shit
other
come-
one, your son on there?
Yeah, so yeah, you'll see me, yup. That's a little low.
It's called StockX.
StockX, okay, I got it.
See, these the ones you got right here. I gotta get these ones.
I was surprised to see them in the store. These people was in the store.
Yeah, I added you on there. I'm about to tag you in this video I posted it
Okay, tag me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tag me, absolutely.
tomorrow.
Good stuff, G.
Yes, sir.
I know you're gonna be ready.
Yeah, I
man.
was getting
I
up.
know
I
you
was
gonna-
already up.
I know you're gonna be ready.
Yes,
man.
sir.
Hey, so I don't care what they pumping in you, man. You be here. Man. You know, like
Once or not, you know, I'm be in here.
The Oreo.
yeah, no doubt, man. I got my son some too. Yo, I got two pairs. I got me some and him some.
For sure.
But he totally different now, man. Cause this brother now he in man
I
size.
ain't get to show you what here last week. This what I got. This what we got. my son.
Oh yeah.
Drop a gun.
This what I got my son.
I'm not sure I'll go up to the county.
This is room. We getting this room together.
Nettie out of control, man.
Little bass
Heck yeah, man. See what I'm saying, man? Like,
a Nike outfit.
heck yeah. You got the Tommy. Heck yeah. He already ready, man.
Got to, man.
That's gonna be dope, man. And I'm telling you, bro, like, just to understand, man, once you start to embrace that responsibility, man,
I can't
like,
wait, man.
it's like, and just to have the mind, because so many people, they don't have the mind. And again, it's critical to not have the mind to go at this with, man, because you can't get the job done in the best way. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter what's on the inside and how you feel. It's like having the mind to be able to get it done and understand. Right.
For sure.
Because like I told you, man, my son was 3 months old. I wanted to be the greatest dad of all, man. He was 3 months old, but I got incarcerated to 10 years. You know, because I didn't have the mind.
Right.
I felt like I wanted to be that dad, right? I wanted to
Absolutely.
be. I was excited, you know. I was like, yeah, proud. But my mind wasn't where it needed to be. And I compromised, man, my presence with him.
That's my niece. I treat her like she one of my daughters.
Hey,
man.
shit, that's so important,
That's
man.
my dog. I gave her $5. She was so happy.
See what I'm saying?
She tells me.
And just think, and that's what we're gonna talk about tomorrow, is about, man, now how do we start to develop our children in the ways that we want them to be? Like, it's things that we can do intentionally to get them there that we must do.
Right.
And it's things that we can do that can, you know, make them become vulnerable. And we don't even realize it, right? When we yelling and screaming at them, or we calling them names and stuff, what is that doing to their confidence? It's stripping
It's
it.
putting them down.
Right. So,
I know that personally. Like, my dad used to always call me a moron. I'm like,
bruh,
what the fuck are you
Like-
talking about? Like, I'm very
Right.
intelligent.
Right.
So then as I started getting older, and I used to just hate when people either called me retarded or moron, I used to fight all the time.
See what I'm saying? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely,
I've been called that since I was little.
absolutely,
Fucked up.
absolutely, man, absolutely.
And that's what I was trying to teach my little brother. I said, I know that's your daughters and everything, but you don't want to yell at them because they're gonna grow up thinking that's okay.
And they don't understand that, and that's the problem, G, is that they don't understand that.
I ordered from that too.
Okay, so you gotta get him in the Ralph Lauren, gotta get him that Ralph.
My girl like, man, you doing too much. You gonna spoil them already.
Right.
I said, man, this is my first kid.
Heck yeah,
Look, you were talking about the McDonald's. I got my niece in McDonald's. She was happy.
Heck yeah, man.
That's my dog, man. That's my dog. I can't wait to get out of here.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, like, and to take this stuff, like, to take this information, like, that's what I want you to do. Literally, think about, the positive interaction that you had, write that stuff down. Think about the negative, write it down, because that's going to start to form this father. And then once you write it down, just think about it. You're thinking about it, you write it down, and then you have a conversation about it, right? Like, this is the repetition that needs to take place. So when it comes time to do it, you do. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just forgetting, and then you be on autopilot. Because when you're on autopilot, then that's when you're going to do the negatives.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when
you
you're unconscious and you just on autopilot, you're going to do some of the negatives. You might slip up and say, man, you moron, because you're not thinking, right? You see what I'm saying? Because it was told to you, and when they do something that seems like it's a moron thing to do, you might go ahead and say that, because you're not thinking, right?
Absolutely.
That's why it's important, brother.
Absolutely.
Good stuff, man.
Sure, man.
Man, it's good to build with you, bro. Straight up.
Appreciate
Absolutely.
you, man.
Absolutely.
Sure.
We're going to rock and roll, man.
Don't forget your phone, man.
I got it.
Appreciate you.
And read that book, man.
Oh, I most definitely am, man. You heard what I said. They try to hide stuff from his office.
Ain't no doubt,
I
man.
ain't no dumb nigga.
Right.
Let me rephrase that. I ain't no dumb human being.
No, dumb brother. Like, I ain't no dumb brother. Absolutely right. So we even
nigga
give
mean ignorance. Man.
no doubt. So it's like, why do we use that?
For sure.
Why do we use that, right? Like, it makes no sense. Everything that we do now, it has to make sense. If we ain't doing stuff that makes sense, that's a problem.
Right. Saying
Like, straight
they
up.
say what you do over and over, that's called being idiotic.
No doubt. Absolutely right. Because you're not going to get no different results, man. The only way you overcome this type of stuff, man, is you do stuff that makes sense. You got to do things to intentionally make your situation better for it to be better, or else it will not get better.
Absolutely.
I like
All
that. That's good.
No doubt. Yeah. You a father, brother?
Am I what?
A father?
Nah.
Oh,
yeah,
he still
yeah.
getting
Yeah.
blamed on.
I thought you were talking about something else.
Yeah, how come you ain't in the class, man? You should be taking the class. Hey, who fathers in here, man? Who fathers in here for the class tomorrow?
James. Yeah, James.
Yeah.
I know,
Come on, man, I got
know
this work for
all
y'all.
my sons, but I make mistakes.
I thought he was asking me if I was a father.
Yeah, no,
like
no, absolutely. So, no, yeah, we doing the class.
I
The
didn't even know
father.
there was a class.
Oh, yeah, okay, absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Hey, John, here. Here you go.
Okay, yeah, so it's going to be tomorrow at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Bet.
Yeah, you can fill that out now. I'll wait for you to get it done. Hey, we got any more fathers in here that want to participate in the Father Within class? It look like I'm just talking because I got lips on my face, huh? Who said I ain't know I was here? Bruh, come on, man. That's crazy. I was all in the dorms and everything, man.
I ain't seen you.
I came in the dorms, man. I went to every dorm, man.
You went earlier?
Yeah. So tomorrow.
I was in there ironing my clothes.
Oh, dang, you was in here. I was in the dorms and stuff. I told Acewood, man. I told this brother right here to get everybody, man. And so we're going to take it up with Acewood, man.
I signed up. You was here 2 weeks ago. But
Right, absolutely.
I had to go to the field.
So tomorrow, 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. All right, brother. I get up at 7 o'clock to make it here. So it's like, brother, I need y'all to be down here at 9 o'clock.
I seen that walk past, but I ain't know who. I mean, your team.
Yeah, because it's wartime. Yeah, it's wartime, man. I'm at war right now, man. You know, like we gonna get it in, man. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. So I'm still at it, man. So anybody else who want to come, let them know, man, and I'll be here, man. Absolutely.
And then you can help me on positive. I know, I'm at war. I still want to see at war. All right, Carlos?
He said, why, Carlos?
Man, to turn the penitentiary on his head and stand the community on his feet. It's not a game, man. It's not a game, man. Like, this is a beast, man. Like, you know, and the main thing that we got to come against is the philosophy that's getting people incarcerated. And once we do that, guess what? Game time. We gonna do it with information, right? And we gonna get to raising our children so then they don't get incarcerated. We gonna reduce the prison population overall. Man, I'm talking about this is a movement, and I ain't saying it just like because it's like the key words out here nowadays. Like this is really a movement, man. Like exciting times. So that's why I was saying we at war. You know.
Hey, what up, brothers?
I know she said she didn't get none of that. She's still sleeping, man. Like, hey, man, she's still sleeping, man. Like, she's still sleeping, man. You know, she's still sleeping, Ace, man.
Here. No. Hey. Come here. You see, hear that father word and run.
Where that brother James at? Where the brother James at?
He went to fill out that paper.
Oh, okay.
Miller, you lost?
Nope.